What if there were only 1,000 humans left on Earth? Just 1,000 people. Picture the world suddenly shrinking to an incredibly small number, with the population reduced to a fraction of what it is today. All the cities, the bustling streets, the crowded airports. Imagine them completely empty. The entire human race reduced to this tiny group. What would life be like? Would society collapse, or would humanity rise to the challenge and rebuild a new world? Let's explore this wild what-if scenario and see how humanity would adapt to a world with only 1,000 people. First, we'd have to think about how this small group of humans would survive. With only 1,000 people, there would be a huge problem of resources. Cities, infrastructure, and industries are all designed to sustain large populations. What happens when you take away that demand? Would we still be able to grow food on the scale we do now, or would it all change? With such a small group, the food supply would be drastically reduced. Farming would likely become more localized, with people working directly with the land to produce food. Farming technology and methods might shift towards small-scale, sustainable practices. Industrialized agriculture might become a thing of the past, replaced by more hands-on, community-oriented farming. It might even be a return to a more primitive, almost tribal style of living, with people cultivating what they need to survive on a much smaller, localized scale. But what about energy and infrastructure? With only 1,000 people, the demand for things like electricity, water, and transportation would be minimal. Entire cities might fall into disrepair without the human resources needed to maintain them. Think of all the skyscrapers, highways, and airports. These could start to crumble and overgrow with nature. In fact, nature would likely reclaim the Earth much faster than we expect. With so few people, the planet could see a dramatic shift in the environment. Urban areas would slowly be overtaken by plants and animals, as there wouldn't be enough humans left to keep everything running. It would be a weirdly beautiful, eerie scene. Think of abandoned metropolises slowly becoming forests. On a social level, a group of just 1,000 people would drastically change the way we interact with one another. Would society form along the same lines as it does today, with families, friends, and communities? Or would we all group together based on survival? In this scenario, we could see a new form of social hierarchy emerge. People would be forced to cooperate more than ever before, but there might also be a rise in conflict as resources become scarce. How would humans deal with leadership, governance, or even a legal system when there are so few of them? Would people continue to form governments and create laws? Or would it be more like a tribal system, with elders or chosen leaders guiding decisions based on survival needs? The idea of democracy might seem outdated, and power dynamics could be defined more by necessity rather than ideology. The concept of rights might shift entirely in a world where simply surviving becomes the primary concern. There's also the question of how reproduction would play out. With only 1,000 people, the survival of humanity would be entirely dependent on how well they can reproduce and maintain genetic diversity. Inbreeding would become a serious concern. Could humanity avoid genetic problems if the population was this small? It would be a race against time to ensure that the population remained genetically diverse enough to avoid health problems. The need for a balanced gene pool could lead to complex family structures, even perhaps the regulation of who can reproduce with whom to prevent harmful genetic issues. There might even be a new focus on medical science and genetic engineering to ensure the continued health of the human race. Imagine a world where people are born and raised with the conscious goal of preserving humanity's genetic future. Let's think about the emotional impact of living in such a small group. How would the last 1,000 people on Earth cope with isolation and the knowledge that their species is on the brink of extinction? Would they bond together and form deep, meaningful relationships? Or would the pressure of being the last of humanity cause a sense of desperation or even despair? With no strangers left, every person would know the others intimately. How would friendships evolve when your entire social circle is just a handful of people? What would it mean to fall in love, to raise children, or to grow old when every relationship would be essential for the survival of the human race? The fear of extinction could cause anxiety, but it could also inspire deep empathy and unity. The survivors might feel an overwhelming sense of responsibility to preserve human culture and history, cherishing every book, painting, and piece of music from the past as the remnants of an old world. On a larger scale, the environment would undergo dramatic changes as well. With only 1,000 humans, the Earth could start to heal from centuries of human exploitation. Pollution would slowly decrease as industries shut down. Air quality would improve, and oceans could begin to recover from overfishing and plastic waste. The extinction of many species could be reversed, and ecosystems could start to recover, creating a kind of environmental rebirth. But that doesn't mean it would be a perfect paradise. With only a few humans left, managing the planet's resources would be even more crucial. The risk of overexploitation or accidental destruction would be more present than ever. And then, there's the philosophical question. What does it mean to be human when there are so few of you left? In a world with only 1,000 people, the shared human experience would be amplified, but also heavily shaped by survival. Would people strive to continue the legacies of past civilizations, art, culture, science, or would they prioritize basic survival over everything else? Would humanity's achievements in literature, technology, and philosophy even matter anymore? Or would the focus shift to ensuring that the next generation survives, no matter the cost? With such a small pool of people, everything, every action, every word, every decision would carry immense weight. The value of life would feel even more profound, as each person would understand that they are part of the last chance for humanity. So, what would it be like if there were only 1,000 humans left on Earth? It would be a world that's both intensely close-knit and fragile. There would be challenges, from genetic diversity to resource management, but there would also be opportunities for a more meaningful, intimate connection between people and with the world around them. Humanity's future would depend on cooperation, creativity, and perhaps even a bit of luck. Would we rise to the occasion, or would we fall into desperation? It's a difficult question, but one thing's for sure. Life in a world with just 1,000 humans would be unlike anything we could imagine. What do you think? How would humanity survive in such a scenario? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more What If scenarios here at What If Factory. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep wondering, and always keep asking, what if?